Today, I have 3 background ideas for you with mixed mediums. The first one is going to be distress inks combined with a stencil. Then the second one will be gel crayons, which could be used without a stencil or as an addition. We can add a pattern with a stencil and some stencil paste. And then the third one is Neocolor 2. Let's get started. I welcome you all to the Pumpkin Weeks. I thank you so much for joining in, and I hope you're enjoying the series of videos that I have produced for you. And here I have one example. This page here is by Christine Karen Enchantress. And yeah, here's one of the backgrounds that we are going to do. It is this gel crayon background. And then you can see how the stencil paste would look. And then another one that I have for you is just this image here, on which I have distress ink background. I have used a spiderweb stencil. And yeah, I want to show you how to create this type of background here. I want those backgrounds to be suitable for your Halloween and seasonal coloring. So the first background that I'm going to show you is basically the distress ink one. And there are different distress inks and different sizes. We have those big pans here. We also have those smaller pans. Those are obviously very perfect if you want to have many colors and you can store them easily. They are not taking a lot of space. And then I'm using a stencil, this spiderweb stencil here today. This one is by Dutch Doobadoo. Yeah, it's for crafters, but yeah, this one is just perfect. So with the stencil, you're not going to add the spiderweb itself, but all the little areas in between. And I personally like to have my spiderweb the lightest color, so I will show you how I achieve this with distress inks. Another thing that we would need is I like to use those brushes here, those craft brushes or makeup brushes. They are very soft, and I find that with these, it is actually easier to spread the color evenly and blend it out nicely. But you have to be careful because you cannot get rid of the color that is in there once they are used. And when you wash them, I think, maybe the problem is because you won't be able to get rid of all the distress ink that is in this brush, in the depths of this brush. So yeah, always make sure that you test it before so that you don't get a color or, get mud. And make sure that you maybe have a brush for every color family at least. So maybe one for blues, one for greens, and so on. So then, let me put this out of the way for the moment. Yeah, and I'm basically simply going to demonstrate the background on, a small piece of paper so that I can get 3 done. Basically, I just want to show you the technique and how it's done. Yeah, I drew a little pumpkin here so that we have this, imitates the image, our coloring page. And then what I personally like to do is I like to outline my image with some tape so that I get very clean edges. This is very optional. You don't need to do it if you say, okay, this is just a waste of money to use the tape. But I just like the look of it. And you can use for that either there are tapes that I made for that. There's those craft tapes here. Or you can also use your washi tape that maybe is not your favorite one, or that you don't that you're not going to need any longer. So just make sure, even though the washi tape is not so sticky, it is sometimes sticky enough to destroy our paper. So make sure that you, can you see it? I will do it here. That you put it a little bit here on the table a few times just to get rid of the stickiness a little bit more. So, and then I'm just shortly going to measure how much I do need of it. And then I can just stick it down here. So then, the first thing that I'm going to do is basically, I will introduce the colors to you, just in case you have the same distress inks and you want to follow along. You know, for the first layer, we do need a very light color. So it could be either the speckled egg, or it could be Stormy Sky here. Those, I think, both are very light. You have to just to try out which one you like better. I will try this one, and I think I might go in with this maybe to the corner so it's a little bit darker. And by the way, when you use those smaller distress inks, it's basically good to have a palette where you can just put this down and take it from there, because it will be difficult to take with such big brush from this tin here. So then, for the pattern, I have my Salty Ocean here, which is just a little bit of a darker blue. And then I have Prize Ribbon. This is a very nice and dark blue. And I thought maybe I would also go in with the Villainious Potion. This is a violet color for the corners maybe. So you can choose as many or as little colors as you like. You just need a very light base for your first layer. And then maybe, yeah, two darker layers basically. These are quite dark, so this background will be darker than in my example, I think. Back then I just hadn't had many colors to choose from, so. And you know, I'm going to use some gloves now, because whenever I work with distress inks, I usually manage to, yeah, get the ink on my fingers, and I really don't like that. So I will just wear those gloves here. Yeah. So I hope it's not disturbing for you, but yeah, this is just how I do it. I also got my palette here, and when using the distress inks on it, I would prefer the smooth side. Like here's a rough side, and here's a smooth side. So we are going to work with the smooth side today. I also glued my image down here so that it's basically not moving, that it's flat to the table, and I can rub it on here without that it is moving. So, and then I'm going to start basically, I want to bring on some of those lighter color here, which is Stormy Sky, onto my palette here, like so. And you can already see that this color is quite light. And when you start off, it might be that you need a little bit more ink, while later it's not that much needed, I think. Should I try? Yeah, I also, oh, this one is very juicy. Can you see that? That's beautiful. So I just put something here on the palette. You see, I already have it here everywhere, because this one is a little bit too juicy maybe. I would say when you're working with mixed mediums, make sure that you don't wear your favorite dress. It's best to wear something that can get a little bit dirty, that you don't mind, basically. So, and then I'm going to take my brush here, make sure that it's nice and clean. And then I think I'm going to start with this very juicy color here. And I'm going to work it in here in my brush. Like so. And I'm not sure if that is already enough. I will zoom you in a little bit more. Yep, like so. And then, you know, I just go and yeah, to getting started. Okay, it does nothing. You see that? Okay, we need some more. As I said, this is a very fat brush, and to get started sometimes takes a little bit of time. Oh yeah, okay, now it's working. So I did take it directly from here, basically, because I can get a little bit more color this way. And you see that this color isn't as dark as I thought. You know, those brushes are also available in different sizes, so maybe it would even make sense to go with a smaller brush close to your image so that you get as close as possible, but without coloring over. Another trick that you could do, of course, is that you just protect your image with, for example, tape. But then it takes just a little bit more time in preparation, obviously. Then you would just take for that, I usually take the tape that is made for that purpose. And you can go over. Or if you have obviously a bigger center piece page, then you can also just put a piece of paper so that at least the main image is like protected. Yeah, and now you just go, you take your color and then you move your brush. And you know, as we are going over with several layers, even though if there is something like that where this was maybe a little bit too saturated, I think you can still get rid of it later on, or you know, distress inks, they will activate with water, so you can always splatter some water on top of it and then create a nice texture, and then every little oopsie is not showing up. I'm going to take this other lighter color which I put on here, which was which one was it? Stormy Sky. Yeah, I'm putting a little bit of that here in the corners maybe. It is already gone, so and you can see actually that this color is actually not so light as I thought it was. I thought it was maybe a little bit lighter, but yeah, you can see that it is actually not too light. But yeah, I think that's good enough. And you know, when your brush is freshly reloaded, obviously you have the most ink on it, and you see how I go over here. That's why I put the tape, basically. So this was step number 1. These were the light colors. You could even go lighter and choose a lighter color for it. And now, next step is that I want to go in with my spiderweb stencil. Usually this stencil is not big enough to cover up your whole page, so then you have to start one side and attach the parts like they match. And when you have to do that, then it's especially important that you protect your little image a little bit, especially when you work with Stencil Paste, which we will do later. I think this is a nice spot. And once you have placed it, make sure that you tape your stencil down. Oh, it's difficult with this, with those close to grab this tape here, so that it's basically not moving. That's another tip that I can give you. Tape your stencil down. Yeah, should be good enough, I think. I also will add some here, up here, so. Okay, then I will go in with my darker colors. I don't even know if I really want to use a Salty Ocean, but I don't think so. I think I will use now this prize ribbon here, and I will try to take the color directly from the tin here. I'm actually not going to clean this brush because we are still in the same color family, so it's okay for me. I could just test it out here a little bit and see what happens, and then, you know, I just come in from the sides and applying it here. And, you know, with this, we are going to add the spiderweb pattern on it. And the spider web itself will basically stay quite light with the lightest color that we have basically used. So maybe I will go in with the other lighter color, or because I want to have the pattern everywhere. But you know, when your brush is not as juicy, then the color is lighter. And yeah, you can still maybe create it then. I think I will try the salty ocean now. Yeah, I will just try it. So I rub some on my palette because it's this smaller tin here, and I grab it with my brush. And then, you know, I'm adding it here to the middle section. Like so. And yeah, you know, you have to make sure a little bit that you don't go over your image. Go as near as you can, but not over. That's more important when you have not protected it by any tape or any paper or so. Yeah, I think I want to add a little bit more of this prize ribbon dark blue, especially in the corners. I like to have my images a lot darker. I think that provides dimension, so I always try to have the corners just the darkest and the lightest in the middle, where usually the image is, because usually our background is surrounding our image. So like this. And then I think I will just go in a tad with this Villainous Potion, with this violet tinted color. Take it directly from here, and I also just use it in the corners basically, because when you go with a dark violet over blue, it's making it even darker. It's making it really, really nice and dark. But you can already see, I think, that you can see it, that this background is a lot darker than my original one that I did. So you could, you know, just choose some colors that you have and that you like. Just make sure that your first layer is the lightest color. And then when you apply the color through the stencil, then you go over with your darker colors. And they don't need to be as dark as they are here, but just a tad darker, basically. So, and that's it. I think our background is done. So, yeah, now it's time to go and clean this brush here, so that the color so that the ink is not drying, basically. So, and then first I'm going to take away my stencil here. So I'm removing the tape cautiously. I will still need the tape later because I will do another stencil pattern. Then you can remove your stencil, and you can see here how this looks basically. You see here we had some lighter colors, especially in the middle section. Here it is a little bit darker. I think I went over with stormy sky or something. I think the lighter the spider web is, the better it looks basically. And then, you know, just going to remove the tape here. And this is always the nice moment when everything comes together. So when you can see the beauty of your background. I like it when we have those clean edges. Whoops. Gotcha. So, like this. So yeah, I always wait until at least overnight when everything is dry before I remove the tape. Because when it's not all dry, you touch the tape, you get some ink on your finger, and then you smudge your page basically. And I also ripped off some of the page here, so make sure that you really destock your tape a little bit before you use it. And I went over here a little bit, so it just makes sense to protect your image, at least the main features, when you get over a little bit, then it's not the end of the world. You could also maybe with a water brush, as long as it is very fresh, so to speak, go in there and then just dry it a little bit. So that could work. Yeah, and this is basically our first background, and with a stencil. Very nice. So for the next background, I'm going to use gel crayons, and I just recently bought this Sheep Kids water-based gel crayon set by Shutter Art. Maybe you've seen it in my haul. And yeah, I want to try this out today for the first time. Usually I use gelatos, but I think I have already a feeling that this will work so good. They are very, very soft, very nice. I think it will be so nice. They don't have, of course, names. They don't have numbers. So I just took like all the blue colors that I had and swatched them, like see if they go together. These colors will make a very nice gradient. Maybe even you wouldn't need as many. Just make sure that you have a dark one, a light one. White you can use to make your lightest color even lighter. And then maybe a middle section. So if you don't want to use as many gel crayons as I have chosen here, then you take just the lightest, the medium and the darkest and get rid of the ones in between. And then this will create a very nice nightshade. You can use it for your scenic pages where you have just your objects like maybe at the bottom and you want to create a sky, or even as I did here on my example page, where I just put her in a night sky scene, so that will work. So this one is very versatile. You can use just the gel crayons to create your night sky, or you can go in and add some stencils later. And I really like this Tim Holtz Stample. This is I don't know, it doesn't have a name. At least I cannot see it, but it has this splattery pattern here. And then I also like to go in with this Cosmic Shimmer Lunar paste here. This is a shimmery paste. When you use this with your stencil, make sure that you have to clean your stencil right away. So you cannot wait an hour or even not a half an hour. You use it, you have finished it, you go and wash it, because otherwise you won't get it off your stencil and it will ruin your stencil, and stencils are expensive, so yeah. Or you could have maybe a little tray nearby with water and just put it in there for as long until you have the time to clean it properly. So that is just a tip from me. I'm also going to use a brush like this. I do have brushes that I use with my gel crayons, and I have separate brushes that I use with my distress inks, so don't mix them up. No, don't do that. Okay. Yeah. I also have prepared like a little example page here. I have already put the tape down here. I have my little image here in the corner this time, and I want to have just a night sky here. And with your gel crayons, you can even go in, add in clouds, and you would just, go lighter, a moon even. But I just want to show you the very simple gradient, like a night sky. We will have the lightest color at the bottom part and go darker the more we go up, basically. So I decided basically to go only with 3 colors now. So with my lightest blue, medium blue and a dark blue. And I also have the white on the side. And I'm going to start by applying some of this crayon here to my palette here. And those are like very soft, very nice. They do, wear down quite fastly, I would say. I think that I would need quite a bit of it because my brush is just a little bit big. Actually, we could also apply it maybe directly to the page. But this is a tutorial for another time. So the next step is to load this brush quite good. And you know you do need a little bit of muscles for it. So I loaded the brush, and now I will try to start basically down here at my bottom part where I want to have it the lightest. You know, every now and then I'm going to reload my brush. I think I won't need the white color, as this is actually quite light and subtle. I think I will just need a lot more of this. I will go, yeah, very close to the image basically. I want to add more of this blue. You know, I really like to have my colors intense and not that subtle, basically. So that's why, ooh, I glued it down, but, you know, I have to hold it, I guess, because it is, yeah, going in with some power here to rub it onto the page here, basically. So, and you know, with those lighter blended out shades here near your page, it creates almost like a shine, so that's actually very nice. I also want to have this very light color down here next to the floor, so to speak. And you know, you could just create clouds when you just put in some, like here somewhere. And I do have several cloud backgrounds on my channel already, so with daylight. I also filmed one with night time with neo color basically. I don't think that I need the white, but let's try it out. So with the white you can make it a little bit lighter again. You could, you know, it's like adding some fog to it basically. That's actually quite nice. Yeah, it's nice. So let me just glue this down a little bit better here. So, okay, then I will go in with my medium blue color. And let's see. Oh yeah, I believe 3 blues will be enough. I can already see it actually. And it does blend, you know, those gel crayons, they blend just perfectly in here. And I have to say this works basically as nice as a gelato, I would say. The only reason why I do like my gelatos quite a bit still is because they have those special colors like the iridescent ones and metallics and all that good stuff, you know. I want to go a little bit darker. You know, I think an easy way to get even more darker, at the moment it looks almost like a day scene, most probably would be to use your crayon directly on the paper or the page. So yeah, you always want to blend it out kind of. So now I will go in basically with the darkest color and see, well, what we can create with this very dark color. Yeah, now it's getting night here. And this really is like a training for your arms. Yeah. yeah, like this. And now you could just go in and add more until it is very nice and dark. Maybe let me just try out one of the other blue colors and see what this one does. And I want to have it a little bit darker, so I will add a little bit more of the blue, my darkest blue. Okay. And you know, there's one thing that I like to do, so it's very yeah, nice and blended now. It's nicely blended. And by the way, I'm using it on my 160 gram cardstock here, but those mediums are just perfect for thinner paper, like the Amazon printed paper. So basically, this alone looks already very nice. So I want to see if I can make mine a little bit darker in the corners. I have this foam thing here, and I'm sorry, it's so dirty. Very sorry for that. So I'm just going directly here onto this page with the gel crayon in the corners and just, you know, applying it a little bit there. Oops. And then I will just spread it out with this thingy here, because this way more of the crayon is going to stay basically on the page. So I'm not moving so much of it, so I can get basically a little bit darker. And then I just have to make sure to blend it out back to the other parts. This is a method that I really like to use with my gelatos when I want to make something darker. And by the way, those gel crayons, they do need to dry overnight, I would say at least. But then they will be fully dry and they won't smudge when you touch them. Basically, when you just want to have a night sky background, this is all that you need to do. Now comes the part where I'm going to add this stencil paste here with a stamp. For that part, I'm going to take my gloves again, because this thing is washable, but this is really nasty. And especially when you're using this stencil paste, make sure that you cover this up, or that you don't go too close to it, basically. Because, yeah, this, you will have troubles if you go over it. You cannot remove this completely then from your colored area. So make sure to not do it. We have to fix this a little bit, like we have to tape it down. So, oh, one other thing that we basically need is, you know, like a palette knife, of course. So I'm going to open this up. And you have to make sure that you don't move your stencil when you're applying this. So, trying to hold this very firm. And then, you know, I'm just applying the stencil paste here. You don't need to do it like everywhere, but I think I want to have it especially here at the top part. So, And then, yeah, you're just applying it here and there. I think I will just, yeah, add a little bit more because I don't want to waste my stencil paste here too much, let's say. So we do have it a little bit now here, more in the upright corner. And I think that's enough. Maybe, oh, just want to add there and there maybe. Okay, like this, I think. Maybe I do a little bit down here. So, you know, we just have the corner here, but it's enough. So, I have to clean up my palette knife here. And then, you know, you have to take this rather quickly, I would say. So like this. And now you need to let this dry very well. And you need to clean your stencil as fast as you can, basically. Yeah, and then basically I'm just removing my tape. Again, usually I would only remove my tape when everything is totally dry. So I would let it dry overnight. And then the next day I would remove my tape here. Because I don't want to tap anything with my finger, to smudge anything. So, you know, I just usually when I have done this, I put it aside somewhere where I don't touch it anymore, and yeah, let it wait overnight. And then the next day I can take away the tape here and yeah, see the final result. Okay. So, but this was basically our background idea number 2. Yeah, this is very nice actually. Very easy to create a night sky with gelatos or with gel crayons. I'm so sorry. And yeah, with distress inks you could basically do the same effect. And then if you have stencils and a stencil paste, then you can even add a pattern like I did here. And yeah, unfortunately we are running out of time a little bit. So for the third background option with Neocolor 2, I just want to show you this page again. If you have followed the Pumpkin Week's content completely, then you will have seen this video, how to create this autumnal looking background. But maybe you're new and you have missed it. I will link it up above in the corner for you. So if you're interested in seeing how to create this beautiful autumnal background with Neocolor 2 or with water-soluble gel crayons, yeah, then check out the video in the corner. And I want to show you basically another example for this background, which I just did after my recording for this video. And it is basically, it's basically this image here. So this is the same technique. I just used more yellow and less dabbing. So this looks a lot softer. But the technique is basically the same, just that I didn't dab as much as on the other page and didn't use as many colors. So, you know, it looks a lot softer. And in the end, when I have colored everything, then I will add some sun rays coming through the trees there. I think that would look just very nice to add some sun rays, you know. Yeah, that's my vision for this page. This is the same technique, so check it out if you have missed this video. So basically let me know which was your preferred background option. This with the glitter on it, maybe very effective, of course, or this autumnal background, which I showed you in another video, but or just this distress ink background here. Yeah, I wanted to add actually some stickled gel today, but we will just save this for another round of sharing background ideas. So let me know if you want to see some more background ideas. I can do this maybe another time. And yeah, so I actually hope that you enjoyed this video. If so, make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any other video. So I hope I will see you next time. Take care everyone, happy coloring, and bye!